Hi, welcome back to Renee Ruth Real Estate. Hope everyone's doing well today. We have a special guest with us. Fred Jackson's in the house.
Thank you for having me.
Right? Yeah,
On the real estate podcast.
I thought this was like we've seen him on the music podcast.
Don't watch our other podcast.
Fred Jackson's now a real estate agent as well as being the drummer.
And keep it all in the family.
Yeah, keep it in the family.
Yeah, that's right.
So welcome.
Thank you.
It's so great having you on this side of it as
Yes,
opposed to the
I'm
music side.
glad to be on the side.
Yeah.
And newly on this side.
Yeah,
Like very newly
yeah,
on
that
this
fresh
side.
new.
Fresh out of the gate.
Like just finished your test
A couple weeks ago.
a couple weeks ago.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
And you
Make it
just
happen.
drove to
Yeah,
Richmond to get the, because state processes take a long time. So you drove to Richmond to move it forward. So
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So we got some time now to like get them ramped up for, which is what we're doing today, right?
Yeah, so
taking
today
time
we're talking about goal setting.
Yeah.
Well, because with the way that it seems to be, and this is no disrespect to Fred,
None.
but a lot of times what ends up happening, you're putting so much time and effort into learning the materials, studying, taking the exam, getting licensed, and then you get done, you're like, all right, well, it's time to breathe. I'm like,
I'm gonna take a vacation.
right? Like, no, this is the time to make it happen.
Like Fred
You gotta
actually was like,
hustle.
I'm gonna take the next month off. He's like, I know, because no, to his credit, it's hard. It's hard work. You heard the police. Woo, woo, woo.
So, but we just want to go through, some career goals, what that looks like. Renee, you can chime in on things that you did as well, because I mean, again, you work for yourself now.
Yeah.
You are now
It's in the
self-employed.
family. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you are your own boss. I mean, you don't have to be, but how we work is we want to empower people. Like that phrase, teach a man to fish, you feed him for the rest of his life. You give him a fish, you feed him for a day.
That's right.
We're not trying to have people fed a day.
That's right.
Right.
We're trying to teach people to create their own wealth and build their own brand. And so yeah.
Absolutely. So, I mean, one of the things that I just doing a little bit of quick research of what others have said real estate goals would be is completing 10 sales calls a day, scheduling at least 2 listing appointments a week, posting on social media every day, following up on leads within 3 days, and closing at least 4 real estate listings per quarter.
Okay, go over those slower.
Yeah.
For the people in the back.
So completing 10 sales calls a day.
10 a day. Can we actually look at?
Yeah, you wanna go through each one?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
let's
let's
do it.
start. Yeah. So we're gonna use Fred because Fred and I talked about this. So somebody somewhere said 10 calls a day.
Yep.
Based off what we've talked about, Fred, where do you think your goals would lie in terms of success in calls per day? And plus, Fred's got background in sales and cell phones. So
Yeah.
he's not brand new to sales, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Sales is another animal, but real estate is different too. So, well, like, if you were to take that to the cell phone industry, like, was 10 enough?
No, 10 is not enough.
He's trying to pry. He's like, could I do 10?
It's like,
Because then 10 turns into 70.
I'm just running the numbers, but no, definitely. I mean, if you do 10 calls, maybe 5 will answer, and maybe you get maybe one
of
to
those,
to
yeah.
to set an appointment, because that's how sales are. It's a numbers game,
Yes.
So basically, if I make 100 calls, maybe I can get 10
With one
people.
client.
Yeah. Well, maybe I can have 10 people that I've spoken with.
right.
That'd be
To
nice.
get
To
one.
get one out of that.
Yeah,
because they
yeah,
10 did seem really low. I was like, are they talking 10 like actual conversations that are turning into something?
But
or-
then those call numbers would be higher because you're gonna have to call, like he said, you're gonna get voicemails and da-da-das and da-da-das. So
Yeah.
So Fred and I talked about this. You gotta goal setting, like you gotta take it to break it down to something that you can do on a daily basis, which was what they've done.
Right.
But for me, I told Fred, I don't know if you're adapting these goals, but like you wanna have like one new client a week. So if you gotta get one pre-qualified client per week, that one client has to have been, so like you may get 2 people and 1 credits in the tanker. Like you've gotta, you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
you gotta go through all these levels to find this one.
Just one.
So I'm like, if you call 70 people and then you get Like, what is that somebody supposed to produce? Because I think that's the better question.
Mm.
You're calling 10 a day. What's
Right.
your production goal for 10 a day?
Yeah.
Well, because the other part of what they were saying is to begin setting career goals, you have to consider where you want to be in the next 5 years, what they're going to take to get there.
So, Fred,
No.
share really quickly what you've talked to me about with goals. You've been setting them up how? Like,
Oh, like, so I have, like our recent conversation?
yes.
Okay, all right. So here recently, since it's August,
Yeah.
so I want to set goals to the end of the year.
Yeah.
Then
The quarter.
about the first quarter,
Right.
second quarter, and then from there do 1 year, 3 year, and 5 year.
Nice.
Okay, so that way, and I was explaining to my wife, we just work better that way when we know
Mm.
where, okay, so in 4 months, at the end of the year, where do I want to be?
Right.
And then I can discuss with Renee, like, okay, Renee, so this is my goal, like, for instance, how much money I want to make. So Renee has, 6 years of real estate experience, so I'm trying to figure out, like, what is that going to look like?
Mhm.
What does that take?
If I want to make X amount of dollars in 4 months, what is that going to take? You know what I'm saying? So that way I will know what type of hustle I need to be.
That's
on,
right,
you know?
that's right.
Is it 10 calls a day? Is it 20 calls
Which
a
is
day?
what he's looked up as the hustle.
Yeah.
So you see how important goals are. You said it actually best right there. Where you said you and your wife work best. It's not just you and your wife. Humans work best
Mhm.
when there's tangible,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
and you have them in identifiable time frames. Like you just said, even though it's August, you broke up the rest of the year into like 2. And you don't want it, you don't want to set a goal to December, because what if what you're doing isn't working and then you take 4 months to figure out it's not working?
Yeah,
Right.
Like you need to,
Yeah.
that's like we were talking with Bevs. Like at the end of every week, you need to look back and be like, what do I have from the work I was supposed to do all week? Do I have what if I keep doing this, am I going to get where I need to be? And if you have nothing at the end of 7 days, definition of insanity is what?
Do the same thing again and again,
And
expecting different results.
exactly. So that 10 a day, I think, if we keep going,
Yeah.
they're going to be like, I think you would evaluate and be like, it's sufficient.
Yeah.
Like the ATM is not returning.
Well, yeah, I think you would very quickly get through 10 calls and like,
Can I ask a question?
I could
What are
keep
they
going.
doing the rest of the day?
Right? Well, I mean,
Look. Hello? I think 10 calls. I think as a kid, I might have called 10 friends in like 2 hours.
Right.
Yeah.
And had conversations with all 10 friends. I think as a girl, would probably talk to 10 friends for like 8 hours. But like the point is that like how long is it actually? Okay, go to the next one.
well, because you and I think, have already discussed what they're doing with the rest of their time.
What are they doing?
They're not dialing for dollars.
Not dialing for dollars.
Like they're doing all those other fun things.
Oh, making my Facebook page.
Like making all the things that are not
This is my favorite. I worked on my logo today, and I'm like, hey, why?
Right, yeah.
Is that going to make you money? And that's what I always say. Is what you did today, are the activities you did that day going to produce a name and a number? And if you're not getting a name and a number, whatever you've done, this sounds harsh, but it's a waste of time.
Well, even those 10 calls were a waste.
If
There was no connection. I mean, like if there was nothing that came of it, like if you were having a conversation and it.
yeah, that's still income producing activity.
Yeah.
It's not a waste. I just think it's done. It's kind of like it's like going to the gym. You can appreciate this.
Yeah.
It's like going to the gym and getting 5 pounds and lifting, and then be like, I'm done, and then wondering why you still look the same. It's like
Right, yes.
you weren't actually trying.
Yeah.
Like the activity you're doing
It's not
is
producing.
yeah, no. It's what you're supposed to do, but it's not gonna get you results because you're not trying hard enough.
Yeah.
You're not doing the hard. Like hard is picking up the 15 pounds. Okay, as a girl, let's just be real. I was like 40, but like the 5s are always easy for me. Like you pick up 15 and do that 6 reps, and you're like, I hate my life. So, but guess what? It's no pain, no gain. Like that mentality is the same in our business.
Yeah.
Wait, what's the
next one was scheduling at least 2 listing appointments a week.
That's a great goal. How?
Right.
I'd like to know how.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. So goals are good, but if you can't figure out how to achieve them, what's the point of the goal? So for me, I've been in 6 years. I don't know how to get 2 listings a week. I don't know how to get 2 listings a week. And to be fair, I have not been someone that focused on listings or buying. Like there's some agents who are like, I'm a listing agent, some agents are like, I'm a buyer's agent. I haven't focused on them, and like Fred, I would encourage you and anyone listening, focus on helping people.
Yeah.
Right.
Period. If it works out they have to sell something, awesome. If it doesn't, I would be like, oh, I'm so sorry. I don't want to help you get paid on something because you're not a listing.
You're right.
Who said that? No. Look. I'd rather call and find people that want to sell a home. I'm sorry, I can't help you want to buy it.
Is it easier on one side? Maybe that's the reason why. I don't know. I'm asking. Like I'm new to this.
Yeah, welcome.
Yeah.
No, these are questions people watching might have. So to ask, this is
Yeah.
why you're in here today.
That's right.
So from my experience, it's easier because a listing is a guaranteed payday, a buyer is not.
Okay.
Follow this, like a listing, if I get a listing and I put on part, now that's loose too because I have had listings that expired, didn't
Right.
sell. It's not as guaranteed, but it's far more guaranteed than all these buyers that you're working with. You never find them a house, but from where I looked at it, because I learned how to vet buyers. Like if you vet them well, they're every much as good of a guarantee as the listing itself.
Right.
Because if you just like a listing, like I'm not gonna go list with somebody who's like, I don't know if I want to sell. Could we just see what happens? I'm like, what do you see what happens? Like, do you want to sell or you don't want to sell? Like, because if their brain's not in it, it's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
Like if they're not like if they're not like that, then not waste your time. And I've always said this too: if you're new, nothing really is a waste of time because even if you get like the buyer that wants to looky-loo, you're in and out of houses, and I learned the most in and out of houses.
Right,
Like
right.
the more houses you're in, the more houses you see, the better. Not saying go find someone that wants to run your gas around town. Like, yeah, you know how expensive gas is. So let's not but at the same time, there are people I would encourage you to work with that I might say, yeah, I can't, which I would probably know how to do.
Right.
Well, and to be fair, I would think also being a buyer's agent is also going to lead to listings.
Eventually, that's
So it's like
that's
you're
the
starting from
turnaround.
scratch.
Like Jen actually thought that I had a huge turnaround already, and I'm like, not yet. Like I'm not. I guess everyone that I sold houses to love their homes.
Just awesome.
Yeah.
So-
I mean, I love my home that you sold me. You know.
Right. There you go.
They may die in that house. I don't know why they'll be getting second and third homes. They're like, we're gonna keep this. Yeah, you do love the house.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing too, right? Like if you really are working. I was talking to another client who was just like, I heard the phrase, I need this to close. If that's how you work, that's going to be a challenging space to be in because everybody can feel that. And you never want your client to feel like you're closing because you want a payday.
Yeah, that's right.
You don't need this to close. Like, and that was actually my response to this agent. I said, no, you don't need this to close. You are going to make your money. You need to do right by everybody involved. And if this is not the house for them, then it is better for you on all fronts to just find them a way out of it and get them something they really. And because I've operated like that, I think I've ended up with more people that are happy where they are. Because even though financially at the beginning I did need them to close, I wouldn't let myself live in that space.
Right.
I'm not there. Like I'm not in that space. It's true. Like my bank account over here is screaming, bank account.
Yeah.
But stop it down. But I'm over here going, no, this is good. What do we like? Because I just knew if you do right by people, it will snowball, and it did.
Yeah.
So okay, so we've covered the first and the second.
Yep. So the next one is posting on social media every day.
Don't know how that's making you money, but okay.
No.
To be fair, like these were goals, right? So that's a fair goal because you want to establish yourself as an agent. So you think, Fred's been like you've been in the cell phone industry for so long, you've got to get people to know.
Yeah. I mean, like for instance, like I'm not gonna lie, like when after all my paperwork and everything gets back from the state and everything is officially with EXP, I already know what I want to say. I already know.
He's got
And I think maybe and I kind of started like low key searching up other agents, and so what I'm finding out what they're posting is like, hey, come and see me, or here's some unknown information about the real estate industry, showing that they know the industry, and which maybe want to be like, you know what, I want to work with that person.
So I will say this, people pay attention to social media. They do, and they talk about it, and there's way more lurkers on social media, like, they don't even comment or like on your stuff, but they know all your business. They know all your business. Like, you run into them, my favorite's when I run into somebody like, oh, I know you're blah, 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 and I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I think I even said to them, like, why don't you comment? Like, it's almost like a one-sided conversation. Like, I sat down and told you my whole life, and you just listen. It's like, who does that? But they do. And I think that there's value in establishing yourself as a player in the industry and utilizing, I mean, you know, TikTok has been a fun one, but I also think there's a balance, right? So that's not, I think that's what Chad was leading to. That's not your work for the day.
No, absolutely.
Like, that's not work.
Yeah.
That's like.
Yeah, that's not throwing the fishing reel out. Let's see if I can catch anything, you know.
In a 2-inch pond.
Right, yeah. You know, let's see if this.
You're like, not yet.
Let's see if anything going to get.
Not yet. When the rain comes, you're like, maybe today. Like, I think that it's, yes, I think that should be part of your routine in life, but you really want to delineate income producing activities from, you know, branding. That's what we call branding.
Yeah. See, I'm all about that.
Branding matters. And there's like courses on this, and there's literally like it matters. But it also, the branding, if you know, what really spoke volumes was when I finally established myself in sales volume. You know, like when I built the credentials, it's like my brand, all that work that because your branding is probably going to go unnoticed quite a while. Like you will be casting that net, and you're like, no one's paying attention, and all of a sudden one day, here comes the chatter, and you're like, I've been doing this like faithfully, religiously and I'm not joking when I say like 4 years of like posting, you know, establishing a brand, and I still feel like I'm not where I feel like it's like this, like you're just like, like wading through sludge, but it's part of the process, and it's how you gain success.
For me, I think because I'm switching careers, and there might be some people who don't know.
You will have
So my first post, like I already
so
I don't want to give it away, but it's to rebrand myself. Huh?
We're
gonna have fun.
TikTok video.
We're gonna do it here. I mean, why not?
I'm not kidding. So this is the thing. I think you need to have fun in this business, and I think you should have fun in this business.
Oh yeah.
But then but the money making stuff is not, as Chad has learned. With all the grapevine comes some grueling stuff, and it's the grueling stuff that builds your character, builds your reputation, builds your the experience, and it's all that. But it's what's the point of doing this if you don't get to do all that? Like or all this, right? This is the fun. So
it's true.
Okay, so we do think social media matters. It's not income producing, but it does matter.
Yes.
Yeah, and chat and look for Fred's posts.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's coming. It's coming soon. So the next one is following up on leads within 3 days.
3 days.
Oh.
This was not written by Renee.
Where are you getting this information from, Chad?
It's just fun, Fred.
Oh wow! So
They already closed on the house by then.
Hey, the pandemic working? Yes. And maybe this is pre-pandemic and things might have moved a little slower, but like in this market, like okay, the world that I live in, like let's say Fred starts calls if he hasn't yet, and you're calling, you get something like, yeah, I'm interested. You don't call it for this is not a dating relationship. You have to wait. Like I don't want to seem too eager.
I'm not an easy sale. I'm not an easy salesperson.
I'll call the next day. I was just like, I did not hear that clearly. Let's just go over those again because you read through them, and I'm like, this is what? And then when you said that, I'm like, the answer is no. You follow up on those leads. Now there is something to be said about like how, like it's not like you call them like, yeah, I'm interested. Okay, where was you know? Okay, I'll call you.
Yeah, right.
So what do you want to meet? I will say this. Here's what I tell people about follow up. I would never ever put a timeline on it. You got to think about it like you're leading like the crumb trail, right? Like, kind of like how a child, like you never, like if you've got kids and you know you're gonna do something that day, you have to tell them like, okay, make sure you go to the bathroom. Like you're running through the list of things because it helps them process. So when you think about someone going to buy a home, I need to run in. If you haven't sold in the last, you can assume this. If they did not sell in the last 6 months, the entire process has changed and they're basically first-time buyers. And they're going to tell you all day they're not, oh, I did this 10 years ago, 20 years. It does not matter when they did it. They don't remember. They have no idea. And so you got to treat each person like that. Like, so for me, the follow-up is not, you're not waiting to follow up. You are always setting the next step. So I never hang up the phone without summarizing where we go next. So like I get a call and I'm on the phone with them with Realtor.com and the girl, you know, she's telling me her life story. It's like, cool, okay, here's what we're gonna do. This is how I finish it. You know, become friends. Here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna hang up the phone and I'm gonna group text you with the local lender that I know because she's asked for a reference. I said, I'm gonna group text you with a couple local lenders I know. You decide who you want to work with. I said that you and I, so you're gonna text me the kind of the beds and baths and everything you need. I'm gonna set you with an email list. And then we were gonna go from there, right? So then she does. So they hang up and they feel like you got them. They're like, it's like kids. They gotta feel like you got them. Like if you leave them willy-nilly, they feel like they start to feel like they're drowning, right? So for me, that's what follow-up is. It's not a follow-up. It's setting the next, and then your follow-up is making sure you follow through.
Right.
And trust me, there are balls that I have to drop because you can get so busy. But yeah, that's so. 3 days. After this, you gotta tell me where you got this because I'm dying right now. Who are these? Like, how much business are these people doing?
I know, seriously. And the last one was closing on 4 real estate listings per quarter.
Listing.
Not contracts, the actual listings.
Okay, so that seems so like, why would you be like, so what about the buyers? Are they useless? They do nothing?
Right.
So a quarter?
Yeah.
So that's what?
So it's almost
One
one
and a half a month, 1 and a quarter a month.
Yeah.
Okay, so that, you know, when starting out for someone like you, like, yeah, I would set, but I would try to scale a lot quicker than that.
I
Like
would too.
that seems like a pacing, like, so our company that he's talking about, EXP, what's so cool is they set you up with these goals to achieve every year, and they got these 12-month goals, and they're so very attainable. But there's so much, it's very hard. They're attainable, but it's very hard. And I think what happens with the newbies is they don't scale quick enough. So they don't sit down and they look at, so if you're watching this, like EXP basically wants you to cap, which is 2.2 million in sales. So no matter what market you're in, you can process 2.2 million in sales. That's the cap of a company in America. Once you cap, you have to sell so many houses, and this is still the same 12 months, you have to sell so many houses to Icon, which is the highest, you know, it's the top 2% of the company. I have been in it. We keep pointing out all my little trophies. Where's my other trophy?
I was gonna say, we're missing one.
Yeah, we're missing one. So, you know, so what I did not do for the newer agents that joined me, because like you guys, I learned as I go, is to sit down and say, hey, here are the goals, let's break this down. That approach is not gonna get you to the top of the company in 12 months.
No.
Like I would shoot for, 1 year first, you need to break down the number of homes based off how much you have to sell in that 12 months, and then you gotta tear it down into how can I scale this? Like, what does my scale need to look like? And that's what you work for. And Fred, I don't even know that answer.
Correct.
I don't know, 2.2 million in our market is roughly 12 houses. Based off that, they're capping in 1 year on that approach.
Yeah.
Right? So that approach is useless if you're with EXP because you want to sell 12 houses before month 7.
Right.
So that you've hopefully built enough. You gotta think it's a momentum too. It's not like if you push hard to sell 12 houses in 7 months, all that work that you're doing, it's kind of like, it's like a turbine, right? Like if you're moving really fast to get there, it's not like you hit the 2.2 million and the turbine stop. So you should be able to get to the 12 with the remainder. But what you don't want to do is put it so far out that you struggle to close the remainder. So for us in our market, the remainder is 20 houses. So you do 12 plus 20, that's 32 houses in your first year. How do you break that down into something in 12? He's over here going, I'm starting to sweat. He's like, my back is getting warm. He's like, 32 houses in 1 year? Yeah, I got this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you guys heard of SMART goals?
No, well, what book was that in?
I don't know, but I can break it down for you real quick.
We're listening. Educate us.
We're gonna give this to Fred to take home. So, all right. So SMART goals is specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound.
A lot of verbiage.
It's a lot of verbiage. So specific is, I mean, this kind of breaks down a little bit easier what we had just said. But specific is, in order for a goal to be effective, it needs to be specific. A specific goal answers questions like what needs to be accomplished, what steps need to be taken to achieve it. So that thinking through these questions will get you to the heart of what you're aiming for.
Like we just talked about. 32 houses, dude.
Yeah. So being able to see what is your goal, what are you shooting for, and then having to break that down.
Yeah.
So measurable is specificity is a solid start, but quantifying your goals makes it easier to track progress and know when you've reached the finish line. So how do you incorporate your measurable, trackable benchmarks? So,
Yeah. So his has got to be, how is it going to take, if you've got 32 houses, how are you going to create that? So you really need to get a chalkboard
yeah.
and put the months, and then you need to number underneath, like what you can believe is accomplishable.
Yeah, you gotta be like, all right, so how many calls does that equal?
Right.
Well, let's
Yeah.
break it even down further. He's got to
Yeah.
take the 32
Yeah.
into 12 months, and then he's got to take each month and be like, how do I?
Mhm.
Let's go. Like you're obviously.
And then I need to be like, well, I need to be at 16 by month.
Yeah, and that ain't planned. Like,
Right.
You
yeah,
know?
yeah.
So, I mean, you guys could say in 6 months, but is that realistic?
Well, that's. Yes. In 6 months? I'll give you an example. So, when I lost my job at Liberty and I had to do this full time, I had nothing in the kitty. So, people be like, oh, you were in real estate for 2 years. Sure. But I had, when I say nothing in the kitty, I had no active clients. I had gone to Canada for 2 weeks like I did. I've been home for 2 weeks. There was nothing going on, right? So I had no job at the end of May, and so because I need to earn income, and I knew school would start back again in September, and I would have my job back. I looked at this. I'm like, I got 3 months, and this is before EXP. I'm like, I have 3 months, and here's measurable goals. I was like, okay, in my mind, I was like, if I go and do every open house I can put my foot into. So I wrote off every Sunday. There was nothing happening after church that didn't allow me to go to an open house. And on Saturday, if I could get one, back then they weren't even really doing Saturdays. Like I couldn't find something to let me do a Saturday. And then I decided I was gonna sit behind my phone. Like I didn't see a number of calls per day. I saw what I had to accomplish each month. So I couldn't believe that I could, on June 1, find something to close by June 30th. I hadn't even been in the business long enough to know that is possible. That loans can close in 20 days. I hadn't even been long enough to know that.
Right.
So because I didn't know that, I couldn't fathom. I was like, well, June's it's a crapshoot. Like I'd be like, I guess I'm paying bills on credit, which is what I did because like there's no money. But I was like, I could see like 45 and 60 day closes were the norm back then. 45 2-month closes were the norm. I was like, okay, I can close 2 in July. I said that means I have to find 2 people this month to close 2 in July. That was 2 people that I'm actively showing property to we find a home we close, okay? And then I was like, and then I have to find 5 for August, which was 90 days. So what I decided to do was, and when I was at EXPCon, the conference, I was talking to a guy that was from Canada who wanted to icon. He had just become an agent. He was in finance before, not even sales. And he's in the throes of a Canadian pandemic, which they were on lockdown, okay? But he's determined to icon. This guy's telling me this story, and I'm listening to him like, I get this. But I was in an EXP when I made this decision. Like, I didn't have that run. I just knew I wanted to make a chunk of money.
Right.
So he said that he didn't have that like 10 call. It wasn't that he had the goals I'm telling you about. He had like, I've got to sell this many houses in 12 months and tore it down to I'm hustling every single day. So he just got up, and so for me, there was no stop. Like it was, I'm on social media. Like I would stop. Like I've said this before. If you had another job for 40 hours a week, you were working for somebody.
Right.
Now for 40 hours a week, you're working for someone. When you're fresh out the gate, what that work is very tedious finding clients.
Yeah.
And I just sat. I remember one day I was driving. Well, not one day. I was driving back from Canada, thinking about the fact that I have no job and this is it. And I'm like, okay, everywhere you drive, there's someone that maybe needs to sell, maybe needs to buy. I'm like, where are the people that need to find a house? And that's how I landed on open houses. I landed on rental sites. I landed on, I started to try to think outside the box. Where do I go? And I did not have family here. So it's not like I had a network to back up. Like, I'm cold turkey trying to start this. And I kid you not, I closed 2 in July, 5 in August, and then I was like, sky's the limit. I was like, if I could do that in a pre-pandemic market, then anybody can. And but I looked at every day like there was no, like, I didn't stop until I had them under contract. And even then, there was no guarantee when they went under contract they're going to close.
Yeah.
You know, so like you start to get, it's just a change of mindset. You stop thinking in terms of like, oh, when is my time free? And you just start thinking like, how do I work the hustle into what I'm already doing? Because to be that wildly successful, the hustle never stops. Like that, it's just a chronic.
And the next one is actually, might be one of the most important ones, achievable. It's the point in the process when you give yourself a serious reality check. Goals should be realistic, not pedestals from which you inevitably tumble. Ask yourself, is your objective something that you can reasonably accomplish? We even talk about that with dreams, when we're like, what do you believe that you can actually do, that you can actually achieve? And then running with that.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like Fred goes, I don't know, can you sell that many in 6 months? Like that's the thing. Like you have to do enough research to believe that that's possible. Because if you don't believe it, it is definitely not going to happen. And that was like, to go back to my example, I did not know you could close a home in 21 days, so it was beyond reason for me to think that I could find someone to close that first month. That's not beyond reason now. You could, like, I literally met a girl on Monday. We found her house today, and she's a 21-day close. That's 30 days. That's a month.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I think that's the problem, is that people get so stuck in like all the ways it won't work. They forget to get excited about all the ways it could. Like, I literally would wake up every day and be like, who am I going to meet today? Like, how am I going to be able to help them? You know, like this one client is going through divorce and she's living with the man she's divorcing, and she needs out. And like, she had no help. She didn't know who she needed. She has no family. Both her parents passed away. Like, she's literally on her own.
Yeah. And
then met me, and I have a similar story. And so like, we bonded on that. And then it was just like, it was like, what cool person can I help today? Like, I think if you take that mental approach, everything in this changes. And it stops being like, oh, I gotta find clients, to like, who can I help? You get really excited.
Yeah. No, it's true. No, I love that.
I'm like a puppy.
Yeah. Relevant.
Fred's like, oh, look, he's got a little more. So he's like, oh, good.
I know, I'm taking this all in.
He's like,
because I know how people, like in the old industry I used to work in, you know, you get all the new people and, you know, they just saying this and saying that, and you're like, yeah, that's not how that works. But okay, I'm not trying to kill your vibe right now. But that's not how this works. So I'm not scared. I'm just taking it all in. I'm just sitting back listening.
You're smart, because Fred always said that. He's like, Renee, I'm just gonna do what you tell me to do, which is so funny.
I'm not going to reinvent this wheel.
Fred goes, the wheel
is already spinning.
It's already spinning.
This wheel's in motion. He's like, I'm just gonna put a bike right on next to it and keep going. And that's just so funny because you say that. I remember I brought that exact feeling. I remember I brought new agents in, and they'll be like, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do that. And so I say the teacher, and he's like, okay, I love all those ideas. Like, those are fun, but that's marketing. And so here's what you have to do to find business. And so I would tell them what to do. I'd be like, did you do that? Well, no, I made signs for myself, and I'm like, okay, yeah, that's awesome. But did you call 100 people today? Like, and calling 100 people sounds like dollar for dollars, which sounds really boring. Like, we're on some telecall thing. Like, instead of thinking of it like you're going digging, like, so it wouldn't even be literal dialing. Like, did you go on Facebook and like find a group and start just message 100 people? I don't even care who the 100 is. You should have conversations with 100 people, and also not make it about you. Like, hey, do you know anyone looking to buy or sell? Like, it's not like, hey, I'm a realtor. Can you help me make money? Like, no. Like, do you know anyone looking for this? Do you know anyone who can help with this? And it's funny because I'm looking at the book Ask. We've talked about the book Ask before. It's amazing what happens if we just ask. And I think we're so afraid to ask. Like, it's daunting to be like, could you help me? Do you know? And but the more you do it, the less afraid you are. And then maybe the follow-ups, that 3 day, I just thought about this, maybe that 3-day follow-up is if they don't respond.
Oh, maybe. Just like
That would make a lot more
right,
sense.
to not let that fall
That
away.
one person disappear.
Yeah, to kind of go back again and
So maybe like your first
Reapproach it.
100 become your 3 days, same 100, or like,
right, the ones that didn't
That's
respond
interesting.
after, from that, call them again, see if, that
oh,
might be
I just
true.
have a good laugh over the idea that so funny. All right, I'm done.
Well, because what you were just saying too, because I said this to Fred right before we started. If you don't ask, the answer is always no.
That's it, that's it.
So
That's it. Well, that's why you stop being afraid to ask.
just ask. You don't know. The worst I can say is no.
Yeah.
So and
I
then
think we
well,
got told no so much as kids. We got sick of asking.
Definitely.
I'm like, why don't we just ask? I'm like, oh, because we asked so much as kids. It was always no. We're just like, I'm gonna stop asking.
And then you got smart and creative, and
Yeah, you stopped asking.
and then no. I was gonna say, then like if you want to go over your buddy's house, it's like, hey man, come to my house, and then you're like, I'm gonna ask my mom why you're here.
Because now she's gonna be
Now
a
she-
spy.
Yeah. Sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't.
Sorry, go home.
It was such a good day. Maybe we should got a glass of wine. She's like, yeah, go.
It's got a timer. It's got a timer.
And that's funny enough. It's like real estate. That's what's so funny. You could say ask somebody one day and the answer is no, and 2 days later it could change. Which
Oh,
is
yeah.
why that follow-up game is true.
Yeah. You may be triggering that.
Yeah,
Like,
I know. Like in the wireless industry, for us, it was keep calling till you find a yes. So it's just it's almost like reverse psychology,
Right.
because we already know.
It's no.
You're
It's a
just
no.
assuming it's a no.
So I had a good manager. He was like, call and look for the yes. I'm like,
Mhm.
there it is.
Yeah, and there's a stat that says it takes like, it's 100 no's to your first yes.
Correct.
And if that's the case, and we're talking about odds, that's why I'm saying your 100, it should be 100 a minimum
Yeah.
on those odds.
Mhm.
If that's to your first yes, and that's just yes, I'm looking to buy a house. It's not yes, I'm qualified yet. Like just
Yeah.
That's yes, like
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
looking for a house.
I'm interested in working with you.
Yeah. Have you got a loan yet? Oh, because you need to know that's the thing people don't really want to do. And as someone like nobody wants anyone in their money business. Like that's like the scariest part of the whole thing, and it's like the most important part of the whole thing. So
Yeah.
it's amazing to get anything done.
Yeah.
I say that over and over.
Yeah. Relevant is just about your why. Why are you doing this? Like, why did you get in it? How is it relevant to what your goals are?
Yeah.
So.
It's what makes you, because that's what makes you get up every day.
Yeah, that's what's going to
Do
drive you.
the
Yeah.
difficult work.
Yeah.
Because you were getting out of a career that you no longer wanted to be in.
Mhm.
So this was.
His why wasn't good enough to
Yeah. Well, but I did have my why,
Yeah?
though. You know what I'm saying?
Still.
Yeah.
That's what made you go
So for 2 years, I was like, the only reason why I'm here, and I was telling my coworkers too, I'm only here just so I can move into another home. Because I was a musician full
Speaking of
time.
buying a house, that's right.
Right.
And so
You needed a W-2.
the bank saw that we had money coming in, but because I didn't have I didn't have a W-2, so I was like, all right, well, let me go and find a W-2 job.
Yeah.
And I got the job, and I was like, I told him, I said, I'm only here for 2 years because I need to move. We're outgrowing our house. I gotta get another house.
I swear it was like a minute ago.
Yeah, because
that one house.
when we called you, and you was like, 2 years been up already? We was like, yeah.
That's what I said. They're like, we didn't count the clock. He's like, it has been. And then of course, where I got stuck in a moment, he buys a house and just keeps going in this job.
Yeah,
He gets stuck in a moment. Because
Yeah.
it's easy.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Well, in
I don't
time.
want to talk about that.
Nope.
Because I'm here now.
That's right. That's right. Time now just goes back to what you were saying before about if you're doing something and after a week or after however specified time it is, it's not working, not staying the same thing. You've got to go back and figure out.
I had a sweet agent
What you
that
can
kept
do.
doing open houses for weeks and wasn't getting one single lead. And I was like, wait, how many open houses have you done and you haven't got nobody? Because like, not that every open house will bring you someone, but weeks? No. You should be leaving with one every other, You know, and I would set intentions. Like when I would go to do open houses, I would literally set intentions. Like I want to meet 2 people that don't have an agent. I want one of them to end up being my client and find my house closed. You know, like I set mental intentions. And so much of this is like that. Like you have those mental, like, not just be like, oh, it's going to be a failure. Because we are a self-prophesying beings. Like literally what we speak about, we bring about. Literally. So if you're just like, if it doesn't work, and that's the problem, if it doesn't work that many times, now it doesn't work. Like now, you know what I'm saying? Like there's no convincing that agent it does.
Yeah.
They literally assume that preset. So yeah, you want to look at your first week, whatever we do get. Maybe it's next Monday. I was like, Fred, this is our first week, right? He's like, not yet. I'm like, is this our first week? When's our first week? So, and that's the other thing too, is like teaming up with someone is going to help you navigate through this, right? Because it's a process.
Yeah. So I mean, SMART goals have to have time-related parameters built in, so everyone knows how to stay on track within their designated time frame. So
Smart.
there you go.
Smart.
Like that?
I like that.
Man, we hope this was it useful for you?
Yeah.
I feel like you're like, he's like, I'm so
like I said, I'm taking it all in.
Take it all in.
I'm taking it all in. You know, after we're done here, you know, I got some other things I want to rap with you about. You know, but other than that, yeah, I'm excited. Thank y'all for having me.
Thanks for
Well,
joining me as a brand new agent.
that's right. Well, we're going to end with Fun Fact Friday.
Oh, Fun Fact Friday.
You don't know about this. We do Fun Fact Friday.
Fun Fact Friday. Fun Fact. Okay, and it's Friday when they watch this.
Oh. I'm like, okay, all right.
Every day is Fun
Don't
Fact
tell them,
Friday.
Faye.
Every day is Friday. Got it.
In our industry now.
That's right. So this is a good one. This is a good one.
I'm ready.
So Sears, this is dating us.
Yo.
If you don't know about Sears, but Sears had mail order houses. In the early 1900s, Sears sold mail order homes that you could put together, much like a box of Legos.
Please stop. We're
I'm not kidding.
over.
It is estimated that approximately 70% of these homes are still currently standing.
Stop it!
And one of them was actually over $1 million that was sold in DC in 2016.
Oh.
My mouth is hung open.
Yeah,
Like,
so-
everyone's Googling this right
so
now.
from 19
Everyone's on their phone right now going,
So from 1908 to 1940, Sears sold
that's a long time.
over 70,000.
Hey, how much were these
homes.
houses?
I don't know.
Oh.
I mean, obviously they ranged because one was over $1 million.
Well, no, it would have sold for $1 million now.
Yeah.
Probably
Well, because it was
the
in
land it was
2016.
on. Right,
So-
because of the land it was on.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they may not have paid that to build it.
So-
Well, they built the lumber?
Well, because I mean, the funny part is that you can actually still do that currently. You could buy like a put together tiny house
Yeah.
on Amazon.
Right. Yeah.
So this isn't like a new. It's funny that everyone thinks like, oh, we can do this now. This is a new thing. No, this is going back 100 years.
Sears did it.
Sears did it first.
Amazon, you can sit down now. Sears did this first.
Sears did it first.
Who's mailing? I'm just, a lot of questions.
Wow. But yeah, over 7% are still standing.
That's a testament.
Yeah. So I guess maybe Sears and the people that are putting these together.
Yeah, right? The average American citizen that put these together.
All right, there we go.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you next time. Bye.